The late afternoon sun hung low over the quiet suburban park, casting golden streaks through the swaying branches of old oak trees. Children's laughter echoed from the playground swings, mixing with the distant bark of a dog and the soft rustle of leaves skittering across the paved walking path. A gentle breeze carried the scent of freshly cut grass. Families dotted the benches, some unpacking picnics, others scrolling on phones while watching their kids chase each other. Then, a small, defeated sigh broke the easy rhythm of the afternoon. It came from a wooden bench near the edge of the pond, where an elderly man sat alone, staring at the ground. His shoulders slumped forward, hands clasped tightly in his lap. In front of him, a little girl, no older than 8, stood with empty palms turned upward, her lower lip quivering. A bright red balloon string dangled limply from her wrist. The balloon itself, now a sad puddle of latex on the grass, popped beyond repair. Most people walked past without a second glance. A jogger nodded politely. A young couple smiled sympathetically, but kept moving. The girl's eyes welled up as she looked back at her father on the bench, who rubbed his temples, voice low and tired. "I'm sorry, sweetie. I don't have any cash on me today. We'll get another one next time." But he did stop. His name was Javier, 38, a high school janitor who'd just finished his shift and come straight to the park to clear his head. His uniform shirt was still tucked in, keys jingling on his belt, and his hands carried the faint smell of floor cleaner. Money was tight this month. Unexpected car repair, groceries stretching thin, and his wife working double shifts at the hospital. He had exactly $7 in his checking account until payday, and not a single bill in his wallet. He'd been walking the path to unwind, earbuds in, but no music playing, just needing the quiet. The girl's sigh reached him like a tug on his sleeve. He saw the popped balloon, the father's embarrassed apology, the way the little girl tried so hard not to cry in public. Javier slowed, then stopped entirely. He glanced at his watch. Plenty of time before he needed to pick up his own son from soccer practice. Without overthinking it, he crouched down to the girl's level, a warm smile softening his tired face. "Hey there," he said gently. "It looks like your balloon had a rough day." The girl nodded, sniffing. Her father looked up, wary but polite. Javier reached into his backpack, the one he carried to work every day, and pulled out a small pad of colored paper he kept for his son. Origami paper, bright squares in red, blue, yellow. He'd learned the folds years ago from his grandmother, a quiet hobby that calmed him on tough days. He didn't ask permission. He simply sat on the grass right there on the path, crossed his legs, and began folding. His fingers moved with practiced ease, crease, tuck, turn. The little girl watched, curiosity overtaking disappointment. Her father leaned forward slightly, tension easing from his shoulders. At first came a crane, wings delicate and balanced. Javier placed it gently in her palm. Her eyes widened. Then a frog that could jump when you pressed its back. She giggled when it leaped across the grass. Next, a simple boat. Then a flower that bloomed when you pulled the petals. He kept going, quiet and focused, pulling square after square. A fox, a butterfly, a star, each one handed over with a small nod and a smile. No words of wisdom, no lecture, just the steady rhythm of creation. The girl sat beside him now, cross-legged like him, trying to mimic the folds with the scraps he gave her. Her father watched, a soft smile breaking through. Minutes turned into 20. Other kids drifted over, drawn by the growing collection of paper animals on the grass. Javier didn't mind. He showed a boy how to make a spinning pinwheel, helped a toddler with chunky fingers fold a basic hat. Laughter replaced the earlier sadness. Inside, Javier felt the familiar pinch. He was using up his entire stash of paper, the one he'd saved for quiet evenings with his son Mateo. And he was late now. Practice would end soon. He'd have to jog to make it. But the girl's face, bright, absorbed, joyful, made the choice feel effortless. Finally, he folded one last piece, a perfect red heart, crisp and symmetrical. He placed it in the girl's hand and closed her fingers around it. "For your collection," he said simply, standing and brushing grass from his pants. The girl beamed up at him. Thank you, miss." Her father stood too, extending a hand. That was really kind. You didn't have to do all this." Javier shook it firmly. "The kids deserve a little magic sometimes." He slung his now lighter backpack over his shoulder and jogged off toward the parking lot, keys jingling with each step. That evening, he picked up Mateo a few minutes late. His son climbed into the truck, sweaty and happy from practice. "Dad, can we do origami tonight? I want to make a dragon." Javier hesitated, then smiled. "We'll figure something out, Mijo. They stopped at the dollar store on the way home. Javier used his last few dollars to buy 2 new packs of colored paper, one for Mateo, one to restock his own bag. Weeks rolled by. Javier returned to his routine. Early mornings mopping hallways, afternoons fixing broken desks, evenings helping with homework. The park visit faded into the background of busy days. Then one Saturday, as he pushed a cart through the grocery store, a small voice called out. He turned to see the little girl from the park, holding her father's hand, a shopping basket swinging from her arm. She ran up and hugged his leg without hesitation. Her father followed, smiling wide. "We've been looking for you." Sophia hasn't stopped talking about the paper man. Sophia, she had a name now, pulled a folded envelope from her pocket and handed it to him. Inside was a handmade thank you card, covered in crayon drawings of animals and hearts, and tucked beneath it, a crisp $10 bill. Javier shook his head immediately. No, this is too much." But the father insisted gently. "Please, it's not payment, it's just, you gave her something better than a balloon that day." Javier accepted it, throat tight. That night, he and Mateo sat at the kitchen table with the new paper. They folded cranes, boats, dragons, laughing as the pile grew. Mateo's fingers were getting better, more precise. Later, when his son was asleep, Javier took the $10 bill and tucked it into an envelope of his own. On the front, he wrote, "For the next balloon, or whatever brings a smile." The following weekend, he left it anonymously in the park's donation box for community events. Months later, on a warm spring afternoon, Javier walked the same path again. Kids ran past, balloons bobbing above their heads, this time securely tied. He smiled at the sight. Near the pond, he noticed a new addition, a small wooden sign by the playground, hand-painted with colorful animals marching across it. Underneath, in careful letters, made possible by friends of the park. He didn't need his name on it. He just kept walking, hands in his pockets, the faint rustle of fresh origami paper in his backpack a quiet reminder, because sometimes, when you don't have money, you give the one thing that costs nothing and means everything, your time, your skill, your heart, and that is always enough. If stories of simple, heartfelt kindness warm your soul, consider subscribing. We share more moments that restore faith in humanity every week. True generosity isn't always about what's in your wallet. It's about what's in your heart and what you're willing to give when someone needs it most. Time, attention, creativity. These gifts often mean more than anything money can buy. Have you ever given or received kindness like this? Drop your story below. Let's keep reminding each other how beautiful people can be.